Cheng Fu, thank you for your submissions. The two things that jumped out were what you put is the puzzle of the inconsistent evaluations and then how to continuously improve this. And also down here, what you're looking to kind of gain. So let's address this. First, inconsistent student evaluations. I'm going to guess that you're getting good and not so good evaluations or evaluations that you would want to be better, and you're not exactly sure why. So here's a tip that might be helpful. After the first unit or first couple of weeks, I usually send out a quick short survey, and I do it in a couple different ways. Sometimes I'll send it out in a form of like 3 questions in a quiz, a doodle poll. I'll pose a question in the discussion forum and ask everybody to just write a short answer, or I'll send out an announcement with a picture of a traffic signal with a red, green, and yellow light on it. And I'll say, just give me one word, red, yellow, or green, on how the course is going. And then after that, if it's a red, like there's a problem, tell me what the problem is. If there's a concern, yellow, tell me what the concern is. If it's a green, everything's going well, tell me what's going well. That gives me feedback right away. Then I don't wait until the end of the course to know if there was a problem and the student had to kind of deal with it the whole semester and they just maybe never wanted to say anything. So if it's a 15-week course, I'll usually send 2 of those out, one after a couple weeks and then one about 2/3 of the way through the course. So students always feel like that they're being heard, and then if there is a problem, there's adjustments being made and things are going well. I make sure that we continue to make whatever it is in the course that all the students seem to be thinking is going well, that I don't make any changes to that. And prompt feedback is something that you wanted to work on, engaging students and in student discussions. Well, prompt feedback can be done through what I call the testing effect, and it's not what I call it, but it's a learning approach. And that is where you can have quizzes, and that gives them immediate feedback whether they've got it right or they've got it wrong. And most LMSs can set this up. Now, or you can do a real-time discussion for prompt feedback. If there's a particular week or module that it's particularly troublesome, you can hold a live session to give them an opportunity to do that. I try to use live sessions sparingly because students signed up for the asynchronous online class, and I don't like to burden them with a lot of live sessions, but often students feel a live session here or there is very helpful. And so and you can also have office hours to provide prompt feedback, although that's probably not exactly what you had in mind. And engagement in an engineering course, and I know that you asked that in one of your rubrics. Engagement is important because people learn in collaboration, and just about any discipline, having community or course Q&A is going to be beneficial to students. Now, let's go in and look at your course review here. And I circled a few things that'd be worth talking about. Low accessibility courses. Usually Blackboard and most LMSs, and I'm pretty sure Blackboard does, has an accessibility checker. And I don't know if your university subscribes to it, but there is also, and I think Blackboard is the author, an accessibility approach that you can put your course through. But there are steps that you can take working with your Office of Disability Services to become more accessible. And then you put, do I need to engage students, effectively engage students by closely following the schedule and to meet the objectives? I like to have a certain amount of flexibility in what I'm doing, but often the closer that we stick to what we say we're going to do does give students some learning security, if you will. And do I need to provide a weekly live meeting? That's really up to you. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's almost cumbersome in an online class. Usually having, depending on if it's an 8-week or 15 or 16-week course, usually a live session after the first week or two to kind of get acquainted, ask if everything's going well, get some live feedback, kind of do a little bit of a, hey, how are things going right away? Oh, and then something towards the end usually seems to be about right. And is student interaction and constructive collaboration necessary for an engineering class? I feel like what I mentioned just a little bit ago, I feel like collaboration and interaction is always helpful to the learning process, regardless of the discipline. But you know your students and your courses best. But I always think that's positive. And let me see. Thought I had downloaded this QCTIP. Yeah, you have a pretty good handle on this, and I don't see any glaring weaknesses that you put on here, and I think you've addressed most of it. And when I looked at discussion and engagement and then building community, that does seem to be an area where you are searching. And I think getting some real-time feedback from your students will also be helpful with that. Ching Fu, thank you for your submission, and I hope this information was helpful.